We need to be good at sussing out.
You can do it from any point.
Let's collaborate instead of compete.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mentor Nation podcast. I'm your host, John Abbas, and I'm so excited for you to be with me today as I interview a highly successful and incredible guest who has built one of the largest channels in the world on the topic of stocks and trading. Before I bring him on, all that I ask is you hit that subscribe button. I have some incredible episodes coming down the pipeline in the next few weeks, and I just want to make sure you don't miss the notification when those release. If you have been here before, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening and supporting this channel. It really means a lot to me. So with that being said, today I have an absolute badass on the show who's going to talk a lot about trading and having short and long-term success in the stock market. Jerremy Newsome is a highly successful investor, and he's the founder of reallifetrading.com, which is an online educational platform that educates thousands of people around the world on how to successfully trade stocks, options, and futures. His YouTube channel has tens and tens of thousands of subscribers, so they're definitely doing something right there. But to be honest with you, what makes Jerremy really incredible and special to me is how he lives his life every single day. And I know this because he also lives in Nashville. We're maybe 15, 20 miles from each other. And I'm serious when I tell you, I don't know a single person on this planet that lives life the way that he does, with 100% intensity in everything that he does, whether it's business, family, pushing his body to extreme limits. I mean, today, as I record this, it's just a couple of days after Thanksgiving, and I watched him on YouTube run dozens and like a dozen miles on Thanksgiving Day, and then he finished it with an ice bath for several minutes. I mean, it's incredible what he does every single day, whether it's in business or anything else. And he goes all in, which is why I wanted to have him on the show today. He talks about his story, how to have the right mindset in everything that you do. And of course, we talk about stocks. So this is an incredible interview, and I'm excited for you to hear it. Here's Jerremy Newsome. All right. Jerremy, brother, it has been a long time coming for this interview. I just want to welcome you to the show and thank you for being on. And I'm super excited for this conversation.
I'm extremely thrilled. It's an honor. I love having met you in person a few different times. I love that you're in Nashville, or they're in the Nashville area, and pouring into the group of people who live here. You're the reason why I feel like so many people are moving to this place.
Maybe two or three of them.
That's right. That's right.
Probably a lot more are moving because of you, which for those of you guys listening, this is one of the very few guests that I have on that I know personally that is not in some other state. I've watched what he's built. I've watched what he's created. And you're crushing it, man. And I just want everybody to know that all of you listeners out there, Jerremy's one of the most badass people on the planet. He's the founder of reallifetrading.com. He's amassed a huge social media following. You guys can go look at that after we're done with this interview. But he has helped people all around the world live better lives, make more money with really unique strategies revolving around trading and in the markets. But honestly, man, just before we get started, just on a personal level, and I want everybody in the audience to know this, you're a huge inspiration. You're a family man. I don't just look at money. I've been doing this a long time. I look at all around people, and you're a great family man. You're highly successful in business. You're a connector. You're a giver, a ridiculous athlete. And I'm serious. You're the only person I know in this world that will just like shoot a text in the morning. It's just, hey man, I'm running 47 miles today. You want to tag along? I'm just like, maybe tomorrow. That would take like 4 of my days. But aside from all of that, you could very well possibly be the most positive person I've ever met. And so I'm just excited to get into your story and just what you do to help thousands of people around the world. So I want to start with just a little bit about yourself, man. Like, how did you get here?
Thank you, man. You ever have someone who makes you feel almost uncomfortable because you're like, did I do all that? And it's overwhelming, and it feels like I'm just so blessed, man. Thank you, truly.
Absolutely.
I love that. It got me a little emotional just because I was just thinking about how great family is and how wonderful we are and how perfect this life is. And the weather in Nashville is incredible today, and it's just I love everything about the world. So how I got started, we have to go back to 1994. The movie Forrest Gump. 78% of the way through the movie, Forrest starts recounting his life, and he says that him and Lieutenant Dan invested into a fruit company and no longer had to worry about money ever again. To which Forrest Gump says, good, one less thing. So I never ever heard the phrase, I don't have to worry about money ever again.
Right.
Because when I heard that for the first time, I was dirt poor, living in a Swiss Family Robinson trailer, single wide treehouse in BFE, Georgia. And I never knew that people could obtain that type of wealth. And then what Forrest Gump did after that was build churches, hospitals, and schools.
That's right.
And retire Bubba's mom out of the kitchen. And that poured into my soul. That was like one of my, because at the age of 6, right, you're building your core, fine, foundational, primary memories. My drive at that point became, how can I create a bunch of money to go help people? Simple as that. And I asked my dad, like, what's the fruit company? What's investing? He told me about the stock market. And I have known since the age of 6 that I wanted to invest in the stock market, learn how to invest in the stock market, teach other people how to invest in the stock market, make a bunch of money, and give back to the world.
Wow. It's very rare. You know, it's like you read about these filmmakers, right, that find a Super 8 camera when they're 6, and they just know in that moment that that's what they're meant to do the rest of their life. And so it's always powerful to have somebody on that just knows that from early on. And you've built upon that ever since. And so keep going.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Obviously, luck, divine intervention, not sure, but it's been incredible. It's been an incredible journey. It's had so many amazing, what people refer to as hardships. I think as all entrepreneur stories and as all growth stories, it's impossible, more or less, to grow without pain. And so finding ways to add the most value has been one of the driving factors that has helped me overcome a lot of the challenges and hurdles that I faced. I heard very early on by either Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar, if you want to make $1 million, find a way to help 1 million people. And that's just kind of been that's my message with every business that I have, with every partnership that I take, or every investment opportunity. I'm like, all right, how can we help 1 million people and make $1 million?
I love that. So your businesses now, can you share with everybody a little bit about like your core focus, what your businesses do, and how they work?
Absolutely. So the business that I'm known for the most at this moment is real life trading. And real life trading was and is a freemium stock market education model. So when I say freemium, it is entirely 100% free for people to learn how to trade a stock market without any without any sales pitch. It's very full on. I will teach you what the hedge funds, what the bankers, the Series 6, the Series 7, your financial advisors, I will teach you what either they know, they pretend to know, or they don't know. And I'm gonna do it for free. And that pissed a lot of people off initially, John. I did get sued when I launched the company, because if no one's done that ever.
Right.
Ever. And the reason I did it was multiple. Number one, I went to school to learn finance. I got a finance degree at the University of Florida, go Gators. And I ended up changing degrees. Because they weren't really teaching me stocks or trading or day trading or investing or options, which I wanted to learn. But also going through my journey back in 2008, 9, 10, 11, I couldn't really find many mentors either. And the ones I did find, I mean, it was $60,000, $10,000 here, $5,000 there. It was so overly pricey because they're going for a particular target demographic. And I get that. All good. Money is money. I understand. But I wanted to help the demographic of individuals who said, I don't know anything about the markets. I'm scared to know. And I don't have tons of money to learn. And I figured, let me help this group of people because I love teaching, man. If a high school history teacher made $400,000 a year and could travel and do anything he wanted any time in the world, I'd probably be a high school history teacher. And I love showing people how powerful things are. And what's a beautiful, beautiful part about that, John, is the stock market actually is history. I technically am teaching people history, and I realized that a few years ago, and I love it, how serendipitous everything is, and I'm just so in love with my company and what we do.
I love it. And I have a lot of questions for you, and I want to ask you before we get into it, can we cram a stock market education in 30 minutes?
Easy.
We could do it.
Easy.
Okay, good, because I have a million questions. And my big question that I really think the audience will have the same question, because a lot of the people listening is probably in the same boat as me. Busy people, not very educated in the stock market. And if they are, it's from a Warren Buffett mentality, right? Like invest, wait 50 years, 100 years, value invest in good companies that you've heard of, fundamental that you understand, and you just wait for the long haul. But, you know, this whole time, I, like everyone listening, we see people every day that are crushing it in the short term. They're creating financial freedom now, not when they're 75 years old. And you are one of those people, which, because you're so good at what you do, you have a YouTube channel that's growing like crazy, tens and tens and tens of thousands of subscribers, growing rapidly. Like, sometimes I find myself looking at your YouTube channel, refreshing. I'm like, shit, just added like 1,800 subscribers today. But I want to give people that education, but I want to start with just philosophy really quickly. Why do you think more people aren't successful?
Ooh, okay. Here's the answer. Financial freedom is very easy. It's just easier not to.
Ooh,
that's the answer. Perfect example to sum this up. I watched a video. I was on YouTube. This is probably about 2 years ago, John. I was just scrolling through YouTube, and there was 3 videos that came up on my YouTube algorithm. Video number 1, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates' top 10 rules for success. 225,000 views. And I forget what middle one was. It's irrelevant. And then the other video was the top 10 NFL plays from the weekend. 15 million views. Right.
Absolutely.
It's like, that is the problem. That sums up the problem right there.
People are more interested in entertainment than education.
Yes. Bingo. That's it, my man. So I try to make education entertaining. That's one of my goals. Let me figure out a way to do this so I can just at least bring some people in and get a little bit better of an understanding. Because you were right, the Warren Buffett approach works. I love the Warren Buffett approach. It's incredible. It's worked for me as well. But I also know a different way. I know a way of second grade math, because my IQ is probably maybe 83 at best. And I look at a lot of second grade math and I go, if I can buy 1,000 shares of a company at $12 and sell it at 15, that's a $3,000 win. And when I buy it at 12, place a stop loss to get out and lose, I can place a stop loss at 10. So I'm either going to lose 2,000 from 12 to 10, or I'm going to make 3,000 from 12 to 15. And I can create that. I can put it into my broker and I can walk away and go do whatever I want to do. I can make that $3,000 or lose that $2,000 in a day, a week, or a month, or an hour. That is extremely intriguing, because if you can, how many stocks in the market go from $12 to $15 in a given week? And the answer would probably astound you. It's probably in the hundreds of companies that will go from 12 to 15 in a week. So if you're in 7 of them, and again, you make 7 times $3,000 is 21 grand a week. You don't have to do that for many weeks to start hitting your financial freedom goals.
Yeah, you help people do this all the time. So how do you, or what do you teach, or where do you start to help someone hit more of those $3,000 goals than the $12 to $10 losing $2,000 goals?
Yeah, totally. It's pattern recognition and it's consistency. Like, perfect example. If a lot of people say that you can't make money gambling, and I go, no, gamblers don't make money gambling. There's a lot of individuals, and I've met them, who make money consistently playing poker, who make money consistently playing blackjack, who make money consistently, ready for this, playing roulette. You can do it. It's a system that has to be repeated over and over and over with extreme discipline. That's the key, because are you going to lose? Of course, of course you're going to take losing trades. But mathematically, if me and you play a coin flip game, and every time it hits heads, I pay you $500, and every time it hits tails, you pay me $200, you better play that game every minute of the day.
That's exactly right.
So that's the key. Is the key is not taking the bet where you go, all right, well, can I make? I'm going to bet $1,700 on this one random coin flip in between 100 coin flips, and then give back 18 of my winning flips. Does that make sense? So it's like, as long as you can continue to build that consistency, because one of my sayings is, sales is the easiest way to make money on planet Earth. The stock market is the fastest way to make cash on planet Earth, and real estate is the safest way to make wealth on planet Earth.
Ooh.
So if you can figure out a way to
can you say that one more time? Can you please say that? That is gold. What, can you please say that just one more time?
Yes. Sales is the easiest way to make cash flow on planet Earth. The stock market is the fastest way to make cash flow on planet Earth. And real estate is the safest way to make wealth on planet Earth.
Oh, that's so good.
So if you can use those three things and figure out a way to blend them into your life, that is a fail-proof system from every billionaire or every multimillionaire or every millionaire or decamillionaire that I've ever worked with or interviewed with or mentored with. That's the system. That's the approach.
So when somebody wants to learn how to do that, you have a lot of content out there, a ton, and it's a freemium model. Where does someone start? Because I feel like a lot of people will be interested right now. The markets are nasty, but they're great for somebody like you. And this is what blows my mind, right? To an investor, this is the shittiest time ever, these last 6 months. But to a knowledgeable trader, I mean, you're crushing it. And I want to understand how you're able to do it in a market like this, but also understand, to someone who doesn't understand anything, like, where do they start to learn how to do this?
Let's do the second one first. So where to learn, go to reallifetrading.com, or if you're watching the show notes, click the link below and click John's link. And just go to the beginners page. So I have an entire page. It's entirely free, right, guys? That you can click on and start studying this stuff. And you can get essentially a bachelor's degree worth of financial and stock market education for $0, and no more than any college professor that will ever teach you, most likely. The averages are stacked in your favor. But you're going to learn a lot for free in a weekend. It takes probably 8 to 9 hours to finish my beginner's course. And I just cut through the fluff because I don't have to sell anything, number one. And number two, I know it worked. I know it's irrelevant. So I just get into it. I get into the meat. I get into the patterns. I'm like, hey, this is what you're looking for. This is how to make money if it goes up. And in class 3, I talk about, here's how to make money if it goes down. Because markets go up and markets go down. You can easily make money as the market goes down. You can make money easily as the market goes up. The truth of the matter is, you will make your millions if you properly pick the direction. The direction's irrelevant. You just have to be on the right side of it.
Ooh, this is really, really good. And guys, 8 to 9 hours is absolutely nothing. So what platform do you use? Is there a specific one, or do you use multiple platforms for different things? Is there one you like more than all the rest? I use Robinhood. I know there's tons.
Yeah, Robinhood is an incredible beginner's platform. I love it. It's it is very explanatory. It's super friendly to use. It's very nice. You are absolutely wearing training wheels, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with training wheels. The main broker, and it's hilarious how ugly it is, and it's gross, and it looks just awful. But we have a lot of videos walking people through it. It's called Interactive Brokers. There's a movie called The Big Short, and early in the movie The Big Short, the guy who's the protagonist, he's talking about how Wall Street comes up with the complicated terms and make it look like they know what they're doing. All brokers look very scary and very challenging, except for Robinhood, because they don't want you to do it. They don't want people to interact on a bigger scale. So I show people how to use the terrible, ugly, clunky, gross brokers, and once you actually spend probably another 8 or 9 hours mastering that skill, it now becomes a very fine-tuned race machine. So I use Interactive Brokers. I use another platform called Think or Swim, and that's going to be soon bought out by Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, TradeStation is a very popular platform. There's a lot of them, and they all are good, but it's very similar, John, to like, what's the best type of car?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if
Yeah.
you could drive a Tesla, Honda, a Toyota, Ford, Chevy, whatever, just drive the car and don't crash it, and you can get from point A to point B.
Gotcha. Now you, like you said earlier, roulette players, you know, there's people that go and they gamble and they lose money. And then there's people that have a system, and people that have a system, you know, they know what to look for. Like, what do you look for as a trader? Like, is it news? Is it just charts? Is it a combination? Like, are there certain things that, like, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm going to make some trades today. Like,
What am I looking for?
Yeah. Like, what do you spend your time doing?
Here's what's cool, John. You know why I'm so positive, dude? I don't look at the news. I don't look at the news at all. I have no idea what's going on. Fun fact, I think you know this about me. I don't even look at the weather. I haven't checked the weather app in my entire life, to my knowledge, because I don't care. If it's raining, I'm going to do whatever I'm supposed to do anyway, and I'm just going to get wet. Like, weather is perfect, and there's nothing you can do to change it. I love that, man. You know, if a hurricane's coming to Florida, you're going to hear about it through friends, and then you can go Google it. But you don't need a weather app necessarily. Either way, I don't look at the news. What I look for is, it is a technical chart. It is a setup, and there's something called a gap. GAP. A gap is an overnight price change on a particular stock. So the U.S. stock market is only open 7.5-ish hours a day, from 9:30 a.m. Eastern till 4 p.m. Eastern. So 7.5 hours. And when it closes, well, there's a whole globe. All right.
Right.
So Hong Kong, China, Germany, they're going to be buying and selling our equities on their markets, and they're going to be wanting to offer orders and place bids, and they're going to be buying and selling, and they're going to be placing orders overnight. Well, when our markets open, they're going to be reflecting, okay, how many orders came through, and is the price going to be lower or higher? I look for those changes. Here's a great example. This is time sensitive, but not that it really matters. Yesterday, as you know, whatever today is, yesterday, Rivian, the electric car manufacturer, came out with a good delivery number. And the stock was gapping up overnight. People were excited. I didn't know what the news was. It didn't matter. But turns out, right, okay, cool, they had good deliveries. It doesn't bother me one way or another what the news is, but I could see visually with my eyes that Rivian was having a large change in price overnight. So I figured, based on the technical patterns that I've identified and taught people for free, this is going to continue to go higher. This is going to create what's called a short squeeze. A short squeeze is where you have a bunch of people betting against the stock because a lot of people thought that Rivian would not perform well. But I actually met with again, this is just random happenstance. I met with a luxury car dealer who's been selling Rivians like hotcakes. And he told me this. And so I figured, okay, they probably are going to do okay on deliveries because I know a guy who's been selling them. And I actually went and looked at one. They're pretty nice trucks.
Yeah.
So that being said, I was like, yeah, they're probably going to do okay. So when it gapped up, a short squeeze is people who are betting against the stock. They want to make money as it goes down. I think, nope, those people are going to be forced to get out of a position. The only way people who are betting against a stock, meaning they're making money as it goes down, the only way they can exit, the only way, I'll say this twice, the only way that you can get out is by buying to close your position. If you have enough people that begin to buy to close a position, well, those are buy orders, B-U-Y. Right. They are buy orders. So if you have 100,000 buy orders and 5 sell orders, the stock's going to go higher. That's simple as that. And if you can see that imbalance, which is very easy to see, by the way, it's not, again, 84 IQ. If you can see this imbalance, buy it and then place a stop loss at, $2 or $3 below where you get in, and set an expectation to get out $5, $6, or $7 above where you get in, and make your $15,000, $16,000 in the day, and then be good for the month. It's easy.
That's awesome. Okay, so can you share a recent win and maybe not a recent loss? Yeah, absolutely. Perfect.
Dude, I love sharing losses. This is good. So a recent loss was a trade I take often is Tesla. And the other day being Monday, Tesla gapped down because they had really good delivery numbers, but people expected that. I forget the exact term I would use, but let's just call it I don't want to use the wrong psychological term, but essentially if everyone thinks something's going to happen and it does, it's like, self-fulfilling prophecy, whatever. They're not that excited about it. A good example would be the movie Napoleon Dynamite. When I finally saw it, John, everyone had told me how funny it was, and then I watched it. It wasn't that funny because everyone hyped it up.
Yep.
Everyone and their mom knew that Tesla would probably do okay with quarterly deliveries. Well, they did. So they had a big gap down in price. Now, here's where the excuse train comes to town. I had a crazy morning. My 13-month-old essentially shit everywhere, and I was trying to figure out like how to manage that plus breakfast plus taking my 12-year-old to school plus whatever. So when I get to the computer, I had missed the down move, and I was like, oh, you know what? I think they're going to go up. I think people are going to buy this and they're going to see it as a good opportunity. Buy. So I bought like 300 shares. Well, guess what Tesla definitely did not do? They did the opposite of go up. They continued to go down essentially all day long.
I remember that day. It was and he was pissed and tweeting like, I remember this was like, just a few days ago, right?
Yeah. This is Monday, dude.
Okay.
Today's Wednesday, so you're right. But this was 3 days ago. So I lost on the trade. This was like, what is going on? This is so dumb. So I exited the trade because I follow a rule. I follow a system. I follow a plan. Hard stop, end of commas. I exited and I took a loss. And I don't want to take a loss. And as all men who are listening or all women who are listening, no one inherently likes to lose. Duh. All humans want to make money. Duh. Once you get past the simple, basic humanities of existence, we go, all right, I don't want to lose, but I got to follow my plan. I got to accept the loss. I took the loss. And then I waited per my plan. So I have rules that stipulate after losing a certain amount of money, I have to wait a certain amount of time, and my plan is 5 hours, which means I had to wait till the market closed for me to get into another trade. Market closed. I reanalyzed and I said, you know what? Tesla's going to keep going down. I did some charts. I looked at the monthlies. I looked at the weeklies. I looked at the dailies. I kind of analyzed the bigger picture and I was like, Tesla's going to keep going lower. So I restructured another trade. I took my loss. I changed my bias. I got bearish. And that is yesterday, which was Tuesday. And today, Tesla's down 6.5%. So even though I got relatively lucky, I lost approximately $33,000 on the loss that I took. And I'm now currently up about $37,000 on the winning trade. So the net difference between those is $4,000. And I'm going to try my best to hold the winner for another $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 because my goal is to try to make somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 net per overall trade. So that's what I'm going to kind of keep holding out for, a little bit more of a winner.
Wow, that's exciting. That's really, really, really
cool.
Yeah, that's so. I have a couple questions on this, and sometimes I feel like I go to layman's terms in the interviews, but a lot of times it's what people need. My next question is my first question is let's say that somebody is brand new, they know nothing. How long do you think it would take them? Do you think in your 8 or 9 hour course, they can have a fundamental level of understanding enough to where they can start making trades? Or do you think there's a little bit more needed?
You will have a fundamental level. You will know how to place the trades. You'll know what the buttons do in the broker. You'll still be scared. You'll still be worried. You'll still have a little fear. So that's why there's an intermediate course, which is also free. So there's a lot of resources like that you could spend approximately in total about 55 hours on. That's again extremely free. It's all available. It's all online, all on my website. You can just sit there. I even have a kids course, man. And I'll be honest, a lot of my adults actually end up taking the kids course, which costs $49. But it's the kids course. When they go through it, they're like, "Oh, this is even easier," because I teach it from like essentially, oh, you're in third grade and know absolutely nothing, and that's okay. It doesn't matter where you start. But the other aspect is, if people like me and you, John, we know the value of just kind of getting thrown into the fire and having someone to kind of hold our hand and pull us out of it. I also offer mentorship groups where it's like a small group study, you and 8 other people and one of my coaches, and they go through 8 weeks, and we have a lot of beginner ones of those. So people are going through and they're like, hey, teach me, show me, help me. And man, those are very, very helpful. Those are very beneficial. But long story short, I offer packages, like total free packages for people to learn how to do this. And I'm really excited for the day that I get to group it all together, bundle it, and offer it to a government, a city, a governor, a president, a community, a state, whomever, where I can go, hey, here's all this education. Put this into a school, please. Put this as a requirement into an XYZ. Let me make this happen, and I'll vote for you, or I'll give you your whatever, right?
Right.
Let's start making what me and you both agree, John, a million times that we've hung out. We need to get this into schools. We need to get this into an 100%. earlier level, and we can make that happen.
So like, it blows my mind why they haven't. I mean, you know, you hear all of the motivational speakers talk about it, right? Oh, they took financial education out of the school system in 1908 or whatever the year was. And it's just like, okay, well, it's been 100 years. It's probably a good time to put it back in there. Everybody knows it should be in there. It just blows my mind that it's not there yet. It's just like, wow. So I want to spend just a minute on this because, and correct me if I'm wrong. So for somebody that maybe they have a million things going on, but are still highly interested, other than just learning, like you have a bot, don't you? That can you talk about this? This actually blew my mind when you shared with it. Like,
yes. So I have two dear friends who helped me with this project. Because again, remember, sub 90 IQ. I'm not that smart, but what I know is what problems people can solve. So I went and got some 130 IQs on this to help me build it. His name is Jonathan Wage, and then Matt DeLong, Chief Technology Officer, who kind of like put a nice little bow on it and really allowed people to integrate this with a product that works well. So we do have a stock trading robot that can be plugged into an IRA, which is an individual retirement account. It can be plugged into a college fund. It can be plugged into a regular account. It can be plugged into anything. And it actively trades for you. Now, here's a fun fact. We don't take performance fees. It's just a one-time, hey, pay a little bit of money because it's a software, right? You got to install some stuff, and it takes a little bit of time and energy. So, but once you do it, it's a robot. They don't need to eat. They don't need to sleep. They don't need to do anything. And it will constantly take trades. And the part that's slightly hilarious, but also kind of sad, I was meeting with a guy sometime early last week, and his name is Scott, lives in Franklin also. And Scott said, hey man, we're talking about his performance. He's like, I'm actually beating the market right now. He's like, my fund manager is beating the market. I'm like, really? That's awesome. Like, who's your fund manager? Let me get some questions. He's like, yeah, I'm beating the market. Because the market right now, the S&P 500 year to date is down approximately 18%. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm actually only down 13%. So his beating the market was just not losing as much, which, hey, that's cool. That's cool. But my trading robot's actually up 19% for the year because we're going both long and short. That's net, by the way. So that's not bad. But because here's the thing, man, what if we're able to change people's perceptions on what's possible and available? That's what's exciting. You know what? I'm going to give you an example, everyone who's listening or watching. John, I would say, has an incredible relationship with his wife and his family. And he is an example of a business owner and a businessman who makes really good money, who impacts the world, and still spends tons of time with his family. How many people are afraid of making money and growing and being successful because they are afraid that they're going to spend tons of time away from their family?
That's right.
What if the perception is I can have a great wife, I can have a great relationship, I can be an awesome dad with my kids, and I can be in good shape. I don't have to be fat. You just ran a 6-minute mile the other day. You're a freaking flyer.
7.5. I wish it was 6.
My man John has wings on his feet, guys. But the coolest part about it is all of that is baked into belief systems. What if we change our beliefs that the market can be beat? And I'll give you one last example for you asking the question. The S&P 500 is the benchmark that 96, according to Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, and a few other people recently, 96% of fund managers do not outperform the S&P 500. Every single person here listening can fire their financial advisor. They can buy the SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF that tracks the S&P, and you will beat 96% of all fund managers. And then if you're trying to beat the market, which no one says you can do over time except the ultra elite who have billions of dollars. That's weird because they beat the market because that's how they got their billions. Those individuals, if you went out and did a strategy called a covered call, which I teach for free, one time a year, you would gain literally an extra 1%. And you would be beating the market just by doing a covered call, because everyone here knows, I'm sure, that if you have 100 shares of a stock, you can rent out your stock and get monthly cash flow from renting your stock, just like you can rent a house. Everyone here knows that. I already know, I'm sure. So if you can do that strategy and you can beat the market, why would you not be doing it?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure, pretty sure that almost nobody knows that, actually, including myself. I'm like, wait, what? You could do what?
I still need to teach you that. But after this is over, text me so we can hang out and get some breakfast, and bring your computer. I'll just tell some covered calls on your account. It's
man, I'd love that. Now, I just to kind of finish up, because there's obviously so much we can cover in an episode.
Yes.
You have reallifetrading.com, but I really do want everybody to understand that you do so much more than this. I don't want anybody listening to this to paint you as a trader, because you're not. Like, if anybody follows you on social media, I mean, you do a lot of really cool shit all the time. You host big events, you travel the world. I mean, you do some really awesome stuff. And so, like, what's the bigger picture for you? Is like, you help people. Trading is the tool, but like, what's the bigger vision you have for your network, your friends, your people? Because you're doing a lot of stuff outside of that I just wanted you to share really quickly.
Thanks, man. I will. The bigger vision is to change the financial system of America. That's the big vision. And to get the men and the leaders in place, teach them this information so that this can be a continually improved upon, but also validated process, that if I can do it, they can do it. If they can do it, he can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. And start building this layer where eventually it has to get implemented into schools. And because once we change our financial system here in the US, we're going to improve our healthcare. We're going to improve our costs. We're going to decrease the cost of student loans. We're going to make it a better reality. And that is possible. That is a mindset shift that is available to us as a country. It's just going to be hard, a little scary, and a little tough, but if people like you and I continue to spread the message and help out other people, that's going to be the big vision.
Love it, man. I love it. So we have reallifetrading.com. Is there anywhere else that you recommend people go to either follow you personally or follow you as a business? Like, somebody wants to connect with you and say, Jerremy, love the interview, man. Like, oh my God, where can I get more? Like,
yeah, what would you recommend? I mean, any social media outlet. I have a really, really great social media team that will direct all messages to me if they're valid. So if someone's reaching out, Instagram is great. Twitter is great. My first name is spelled with 2 R's, Jerremy.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Because my dad's name is Jerry. And so it stands for Jerry and me, Jeremy. That was my mom's idea.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So anyway, just track me down on any social media outlet, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. And again, my team will ensure that I connect with you. And yeah, talk on the phone, text message, email, breakfast, something, webinar, meeting, anything that I can do to impact people's lives. I love to spend time doing it. So
you should change your name to the Ted Lasso of trading. That's what you remind me of, man. Seriously. I don't know if you've watched the show, but
yes, I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's really good. Well, Jerremy, thank you so much for your time today, man. This has been awesome. Thank you for the mentorship, for pouring into everybody, and everybody listening. You guys know where to go to get more free content from Jerremy. And just, I really wanted to have this interview, and I'm going to publish it sooner rather than later, just because I think the markets, just the mindset right now is, the sentiment is just kind of negative. And so people are really open to like, okay, what are real strategies? I can't just throw money at something and just watch it grow. I can't buy some crypto that I've never heard of, Elon's cat or something, and it just goes through the roof anymore. Like, people actually have to have like a strategy. And so I really wanted to have you chat for a bit today, because I think it's a breath of fresh air. So thank you for your time, man. Really appreciate you.
You guys rock.
Thank you.